This very special girl is Hope the Wiltshire Horn ewe. Around 3 weeks ago, she arrived at Lotus Sheep and Lamb Sanctuary in West Sussex, a wonderful vegan haven for neglected and abused animals. Sanctuary owner Hayley wasted no time in bringing in a vet, who said that the level of neglect Hope had been subjected to was the worst that she'd ever seen and that she wouldn't have survived another day. Hope came from a farm on which there were reportedly many dead and dying sheep who'd been left without food, water or shelter, and she was absolutely emaciated. I've never seen a sheep in such poor condition. Her body was concave with bones protruding, her wool was bedraggled, she had an eye infection and painful looking sores. But most concerning of all was her inability to remain standing, and for the first few weeks of her recovery, she was collapsing every 2 to 3 minutes. This posed a serious risk of her becoming cast, meaning to fall onto her back and be unable to right herself, which is a death sentence. A cast sheep can experience a buildup of gas in the rumen that can result in suffocation and heart failure. It also leaves them susceptible to predation from other animals such as corvids, who are known for killing lambs but will also attack vulnerable, prone adult sheep, pecking out their eyes or disemboweling them. So although Hope was bright and responsive when up, it was really touch and go for her, and she needed round-the-clock care. Duncan, Jam and I did an overnight stay in -degrees, no fun at all. And between us, Hayley and other caring volunteers, we managed to ensure she was never alone long enough to be at risk. Hayley puts everything into Hope's rehabilitation, giving her steroids, electrolytes, antibiotics, B12 injections, mineral licks, and the nutrients her poor body had been starved of. Bloods and other tests were conducted to try and pinpoint the cause of her seizure-like falls, but these were inconclusive. As the days went on, Hope's collapsing became less frequent, going from literally every 2 to 3 minutes to 10 minutes or more. But of course, this is still a lot of collapsing and must have been so traumatic for both her body and emotional well-being. At one point, Jam and I were following her around the field, poised to catch her every time she dropped, which must have looked a bit ridiculous. Had this continued, Hope's quality of life would have been such that euthanasia would have been the kindest option. So, not prepared to give up on our girl, Hayley decided to fundraise for a wheelchair. This was around £800, and we thought it would be hard to hit, but compassion and kindness prevailed, and thanks to the generosity of supporters, within days, Hayley was able to collect Hope's wheels. Jam put it all together, whilst I, not knowing one end of a screwdriver from the other, supervised and took more photos of Hope to add to the several hundred I already had. Before long, she was razzing around in her new Hot Wheels and woe-betide anyone who got in her way because she was a bit of a reckless driver, keen to make the most of her new lease of life and show off her speed. Whenever she'd have one of her turns, the harness would keep her upright and she would recover within seconds. This has done wonders for her healing process, enabling her to graze consistently and build up strength without having to expend energy on getting herself up dozens of times a day, and miraculously, Hope is now at a point where she no longer needs the wheels. Hope has overcome so much, and it's amazing to me that despite being exposed to the worst treatment by humans, she's still a sweetheart with an infinite capacity for love. I really believe she knows how much the humans in her new life care about her, and she shows her appreciation with lots of affection and her adorable, wide-eyed smile. She's become something of a celebrity, with her story being featured on local radio and in national press, and with a possible TV appearance to come. I really hope it's made people think about the usually unseen victims behind their dietary and lifestyle choices, and caused them to make changes rather than excuses. Right now in the UK, there are millions of individuals like Hope with their own unique personality, wants, needs and fears, suffering immensely on farms with no chance of rescue, and every single person who pays for their flesh and bodily secretions bears that responsibility. Many non-vegans will try and placate their consciences by only purchasing local and purportedly high welfare, but these terms are meaningless. Every farm, including the one Hope came from, is local to someone, and I can never understand why people think that the proximity of a farm to their house has any bearing on how the animals are treated. It's completely arbitrary, as are labels slapped on animal products with claims of high welfare. Some of the worst abuse and neglect I've seen has taken place on RSPCA assured farms, a scheme which farmers simply pay to be a part of and has been exposed as bullshit so many times. The fact is, animal agriculture, along with all other industries of animal exploitation, is a business, and the bottom line is always going to take precedence for those who see animals as commodities, not people. And regardless of welfare, what right do we have to decide that other animals exist to serve us? What right do we have to claim their bodies and their lives as ours and exploit them for profit and sensory pleasure? I argue none, because in all the ways that are ethically relevant, they are just like us. Watching Hope flourish has been a joy, and I'm very proud of the amazing teamwork and generosity of supporters that made it possible. And a huge thank you to Hayley of Lotus Sheep and Lamb Sanctuary. This woman is a powerhouse. She somehow manages to juggle life, kids, dogs, work, the gym, and a sanctuary of 200 plus animals across 3 sites. Her dedication and passion is unwavering, and the world would be so much better a place if there were more people with such big hearts. The Sanctuary has accounts on TikTok, Facebook and Instagram, so please do give them a follow, and via their website you can also sponsor Hope and other animals with as little as £4 a month.